like to thank everyone who's here for their support for the Food Hub, whether that's through your donations, your time, your prayers, your advice, your expertise. It's enabled us to provide food to people desperately in need, week in, week out, to be really reliable and to be really trusted by our ticket partners. We've been through an unprecedented few years, but who'd have thought that we'd be facing such frightening challenges? 80% energy increases, 10% inflation, deep cuts on the horizon, and it affects everyone, including of course our donors, but the hardest hit are people on fixed incomes, including those on the basic state pension, those with disabilities or medical problems that mean that they can't work, and parents with young children without childcare support. And people in these circumstances, particularly those without family support, without the bank of mum and dad, are really on a cliff edge at the moment. The cost of living help is really welcome, but it just doesn't go far enough. It's the worst situation many of us have seen in this country in our lifetimes, and over the next few months it's going to get even harder. And what Sam talked about, mothers missing meals, I can absolutely second that. I've seen it for myself. I've met clients and thought how thin they are, as in, they're looking after their figures, and only realised in discussion that actually they're not eating. And that's a very, very humbling experience. I'm so pleased to have Nick and Leslie Pennell with us today, who, as you know, are also client support volunteers, and our other client support volunteer is Corin and Fernandez. And together, over the last year, looking at both the Food Hub and the Food Stop, we've given advice and signposted about 150 clients. And I just wanted to share a few stories with you to give you a pen picture of the kind of situations we're working with. Earlier this year, a social worker referred a parent and 3 children to us who'd been placed in temporary accommodation in Purley, almost opposite our Food Hub, because of domestic violence. They fled the house with a couple of mugs, no plates or cutlery, no towels, no money. The Food Hub gave them food, and thanks to the generosity of Trevor and Louise for agreeing it, we were also able to give them immediately plates, knives, bowls, towels, tea towels, just the things they needed to carry on their lives. They were so grateful for the kindness of the support of the people who delivered food to them, the time they took to chat with them. The parent actually gave me a card made by the children to thank us all for the help we've given them, and they've now moved on to permanent accommodation out of Croydon. Last month, the young single mother arrived at Purley Food Stop with a 9-week-old baby. She'd been directed to go to the Food Stop after receiving 4 deliveries from the Food Hub, and we had checked with a ticket partner, her health visitor, before making that suggestion to her. But when I talked to her at the Food Stop, I found out that she'd been left in £3,000 worth of debt by her former partner, who'd left before the baby was born. Her benefits had been cut, she didn't understand why, and she was eating 1 meal a day. Through Steve Hunt, we were able to update her ticket partner so they could give her more support, and also arrange Food Hub deliveries until Christmas, and I directed her to their Citizens Advice Croydon for help with her debt and help with her benefits. On Friday, I met a new customer who'd walked from Purley Downs Road to Purley Food Stop in Old Lodge Lane, and she was exhausted. She has asthma and PSTD and has 2 children. She was on £2,500 worth of debt with British Gas. She'd been placed on a prepayment meter, and even though she was listed as a vulnerable and priority customer on their system, when her meter ran out, they said they couldn't help, and she was out of energy. Now, I asked for her a photo of her meter and her monthly bank statement just to verify those circumstances. They arrived today. Her bank balance was 99p. Then I got onto British Gas, and I couldn't make an emergency top-up online because she had the wrong kind of meter. So I'll be doing my very best over the next couple of days to get her other support. And tomorrow I'm delivering food to a family we've supported for 4 weeks. The ticket partner has told us they need more help and can't yet be referred to a food stop. The husband is terminally ill. The family have debts. They need winter coats for the children and school shoes for their daughter. We will do our best to get them help and support. We are facing really dire times. Needs are increasing when resources are reducing. For example, local libraries where people used to go to keep warm are now only open for 2 days a week. Our social prescribers linked to GP surgeries now have lengthy delays. It's over 3 weeks now to get our client an appointment, and citizens are facing huge pressure. So I think we need to look now about how we can make up the very best use of all our resources, including our churches, to help the most vulnerable people in our community over the next few months, particularly older people who very often don't come to us because of pride, guilt, embarrassment, people with disabilities and health issues, and children. The other comment I would make is that I've seen sort of second-hand reports that people think a lot of people on benefits are sort of work shy and sort of don't want to work and are idling. The comment I would make, and perhaps people around here who've driven might second or might not, certainly the vast majority of people I have delivered to and met, I would not class as work shy.
No.
I would not class as idle. I see very, very vulnerable people in need of help. Thank you.